Shalom, friends, and welcome to another episode of Resubbed, a World of Warcraft podcast for the casual player. My name is Raymond. It is November 8th, 2020. And before we get started with the show, I just wanted to actually throw it to one of our new sponsors. So go ahead, the floor is yours.
So today's sponsor is Fizzy Liver Zapper, the seller of experimental potions. Now you can find Fizzy Liver Zapper. Sorry,
Nope, the stays. It all stays.
Okay, you can find Fizzy Liver Zapper in the underbelly. Now, I actually went to visit her not too long ago, about a couple of days ago. She sells the Elixir of Tongues. Now, with the Elixir of Tongues, it allows you to comprehend the common language of the opposite faction for 1 hour. Requires level 3, so you have to be level 3 to use this item. Now, on Wowhead, it says it's 7 gold. I believe they actually increased the price, so I would double check because when I bought it, I'm pretty sure it was like 20 something.
During a pandemic, Michelle? That's outrageous.
Yeah. So I did use this item, and I was standing in the middle of the Broken Shores around some horde, and they were talking about mounts, and I was watching them talk about mounts the whole like maybe 10 minutes, and I thought, this is pretty cool, except I can't talk back. So I
I saw that you were talking about that through guild chat.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up. So I was gonna ask, so it's a full translation.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I thought maybe it was maybe some words here and there, but then
no. So when
cool.
when it's, it'll say Orcish or whatever the language is, and it I was literally, because I was actually on my warlock, and apparently there's this rare warlock drop in the Broken Shores, and so they were all warlocks, and obviously it's a mount drop, right? So they're all talking about mounts. And I'm just listening. I'm not listening. I'm watching them talk about these mounts, and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they noticed that I understood what they were saying? Because what I was doing was, when they were mounting, they were showing off their mounts, they had kind of like a mount off. I would go on different mounts, but they didn't notice.
I love a good mount off. Seriously, yeah. I do. I just keep hitting the favorite. Like, boom, this is what I got. What do you have?
Yeah, exactly. Can you top that? Top that one.
Wish that you would take a look and really stop that. Top that. Well, stop that. I don't really give a about trying to top that. Top that.
I'm gonna one up me. Can you no? Yeah, exactly.
No,
so
I'm gonna repeat. Oh, you saw that one already.
I was hoping that they noticed, but they didn't. So I was like, well, maybe there can be something where she only sells 1 potion. So when you stop by, she has this 1 potion. Maybe they can do 2 potions, or you can not only understand them, but you can speak to them too.
How about if they had the potion on and you have the potion on, can you talk to each other?
Then you can talk to each other.
So it's just a matter of just organizing.
It's just telling horde. Exactly.
Or maybe just hey, if you guys are, just make it a known thing, community. See, this is why this is kind of one of the things that I love about internet stuff. Besides all, internet can be gross in general, as we all know. But when internet comes up with some creative stuff, it's pretty creative. They should just make it a known thing. If you're going to the Broken Shores, go buy yourself a flask of what is it called again?
It is called the Elixir of Tongues.
Yeah, I didn't even know this existed till I saw it, till you mentioned it.
Until I mentioned it in guild chat, yeah.
So
Fizzy Liver Zapper.
It's if you're gonna go to old Dalaran, not current Dalaran and Legion, but Ice Crown Dalaran, just make it a thing that everybody has to drink this potion. You know what I mean? Just post it in message board. Just make it a community thing. That way, everybody knows that, hey, if you want to talk to somebody this is where you go for it. You see what I mean?
You can hold a stack of 200.
That's amazing.
So if you just driving around.
Yeah.
If you're just flying around and you see hordes, you just pop that in, or take a shot. And
dude, how many problems do you think would be solved if that existed in the real world?
Yeah. Right? If you only had an elixir.
Yeah. You're driving around in a foreign country. That's awesome. Yeah.
Take a shot of this.
We have to talk after the show because I have an idea for our commercial spots now. And
Okay.
I think it's going to be really good.
So why don't we do this? We have, I know it's a segment, but I just want to mention that we do have a new member who joined after listening to our podcast who has a Horde character.
Hey.
I wonder if we should do that, and when he's on, I can say, "Hey, why don't you buy this on your Horde character? I'll even give you the gold for it."
Science.
Let's try it out.
You know what? Let's try it out. See, here's the thing. This is not at all. I know there's probably somebody out there listening who's like, dude, you guys are like 10 years behind the curve. Everybody knows about this.
I don't know. You know what? I've been down there before. I swear. Maybe I just didn't click on her.
Now you've kind of actually just inspired me, like to go out and explore more of the nooks and crannies of these different places. Because honestly, I didn't even know this thing existed, and it's kind of awesome. I would love to have that on all the time.
Yeah, that's where I'm finding our sponsors.
That's a great way to just like kill time, is just to listen in on the chat from if you can, from the other.
It was funny.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool.
But you know the funny thing about the conversation, though, it was very one-sided.
Oh, really?
So it was this one female character.
It's the only one who's /S, right? Who's speaking out loud. Everybody else could potentially be.
There was one
party chat.
Right. So there was one other person talking back to her, but you can tell she was all into her mounts because she had she's like, "Oh, this is my favorite," and she's like, "Oh, this is an old female character," so I'm assuming it's a girl. I don't know.
Is that your derisive?
I guess. Is that your guys? Yes. No.
Generic. I'm just gonna say she. By the way, is that the?
Oh, you want to hear my female?
The generic.
I'm just trying to not use my voice.
I know.
This is my. She was a blood elf warlock, I think.
Okay.
And so. Yeah, but she was all about, like, she was going off and
about
what
mounts?
about this one? And this is like, and she was just showing all her mounts. And this one other person was just like, yeah, I like that. It was just funny to me.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh,
do you know what I mean? Like,
what
she
if it was
was
like a
all,
kid? Oh, I hope you feel bad.
If it was a kid, yeah. I mean, you know, this person clearly wanted to show off their mounts, which is fine. Just fine. But it was just funny to me that the other person was just like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. You know what? This would make an awesome segment. I think we should just kind of see if we can find what other products can we find around. Not just products, stuff we can find. More sponsors, more quote sponsors. Guys, you heard it here first. I'm putting the of approval on that one. That's an idea that we're going to take over. See, I learned some stuff from this episode to the past one. I've acquired a certain amount of what do we got here? Certain amount of skills that are coming up on the producing side of things. So this is going to get out of hand real fast. I just want to give everybody fair warning.
That sound gives me
anxiety
because I had a raid leader that took advantage of that.
That's a normal response to a video game noise to have.
Well, I had a raid leader that just kept using it, and I'm like, dude.
Oh, I know.
You know, I'm like, dude.
Oh my god, people
stop.
That spam the ready check button. Why?
Why
do you do it?
You don't need to.
Stop
just wait. If someone says they have to go buy it, you know the bio, when they're like, bio real quick, right? Remember that? And I'm like, dude, they went to the bathroom.
Kick him! Kick him!
I know.
Not there, kick him! He didn't respond.
Kick him, AFK. And everyone, then you have the other people are like, he's in the bathroom.
Oh, why am I making a noise with my mouth? Yeah, just there. See? Feel that? This is what you do. Do you feel your level of anxiety listening to this at home go up?
Yes. All right, it's time to.
All right, we gotta start our show, dude. We got a show,
and that's the show.
And 15 minutes later, I wanted to introduce my awesome co-host, Michelle. Michelle, how let me put you in the hot seat. You've been spending more time on World of Warcraft lately.
I have.
What the heck have you been doing? So we had a little drought there, you and I, and now suddenly. The announcing,
we switched, huh?
Yeah, the announcing of the expansions got us both kind of
jumping
in.
So I had no idea about the class mounts until you'd mentioned it.
Mhm.
And I
How
was
about
already,
that? Do you understand why I said I was lost in Legion that one time?
yes. So that's why I messaged you
Oh,
guys. I was like, okay, I'm already
holy.
all deep into this, like the
Yeah.
class hall stuff, right? So I was like, might as well just finish with my hunter.
That's called a sunk cost fallacy. That's when you put
But
so much money into it that you can't abandon the idea of
yes,
getting
exactly.
it.
But you know what? I did notice something, and I don't know if you noticed it.
What's up?
So when you look at your when you go onto your quest log, and then you look at the campaign or story progress, um, the NPC that is involved within that story progress actually, what do you call it? Is it's shiny, glittery, like they're glowing, not
Sparkly?
glowing, sparkly. Here we go.
Okay.
God, did you notice that? I didn't notice at first because I was like, no, I don't need that quest. I don't need that quest. And I looked and I was like, wait a minute, only one of
So you
them.
noticed that every time you needed a quest
Every time I
that was
needed a
pertaining
quest
to the order hall?
to that order hall to
Okay.
for the mount, it was not the mount, but the achievement.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The let's see, the
Breaching
broken shore.
the
Yeah, breaching the tomb.
breaching the tomb.
Yes, that NPC is actually sparkly.
Oh,
So whenever I finished one, the next one would sparkle.
okay. Oh,
I noticed that yesterday.
I would
Because I
have.
actually got him yesterday.
I would have
I got
liked
them
that.
out yesterday.
Well, now I know that now because I'm gonna run that for my other.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So this is why I've been on, like, I was like, okay, I'm now that Shadowlands is coming out, I'm gonna try to do as much as I can before it comes out. And I tried to, I got my hunter mount yesterday and I thought,
Mhm.
well, I might as well try with the other ones. But then I was like, why the hell do we
Yeah.
have to do the whole thing?
Whole thing.
At
So
least let us, like, breaching the tomb, at least just give us
make that account
that.
wide. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Make
At
that one
least
account
just
wide.
give us that and then let us
Okay.
do our
So
order hall stuff. Come
just to
on.
pull back the camera a little bit. So what we're talking about is in the Legion expansion, which I do recommend people go through still as the leveling experience if you're catching up with the story, because not only is it a fantastic story start to finish, I love the whole everything that goes on, and when you play it sequentially, in the chronological order like it was meant to be played, it's really cool. It reveals itself. The story develops at a great pace. You feel important when you have that awesome weapon that the legendary weapon, the artifact weapons. That's the
Yes.
expansion where you had that. So you don't even have to worry about weapons throughout your entire leveling experience.
Because they give you one.
They give you a badass
Yeah.
one that just keeps leveling up as you go, and it's great. And my weapon talks to me as a shadow priest, literally, because it's like it's speaking in my mind. So every
That's
once
funny.
in a while, I'll just be in the middle of a fight, and it'll just start whispering some woman will start whispering in my ear about something. I'm like, oh, whoa, that's scary. Like, that's
Then
weird.
you're like, am I going crazy?
So it's pretty cool. But in this expansion, that's also, you have kind of like a home base, which is your order hall. So based off of what kind of or class hall rather, what class order hall, order class hall,
Order hall?
basically whatever class you are. So if you're a hunter, all the hunters,
Order hall. It's called order hall.
regardless of race or faction, you all have this main home base that's themed towards your character, which is also awesome, by the way, because you feel like really cool and important. And you also, if you're learning a character, you're totally immersed in the lore of that character. You know what I mean? Of what they do in the world and how they fit in. Not so much in the politics of the Horde and the Alliance, but more so as like, hey, this is your spec in class. This is like our role in the world. And it's kind of cool how they really played it up. Again,
Yeah.
fantastic expansion. Anywho, through all this, intertwined in these storylines is this achievement at the end that you can get as all the prerequisites to get at the end a class mount. So it's a mount that's specific looking to the whatever class that you are, and they're different shades for different specs, but they're all really unique looking. I just happened to go through and finally had finished it on my hunter and got the Wolfhawk. I sent you guys pictures when that happened. I was super stoked. It's totally worth the trouble, by the way, because that Wolfhawk is amazing. It's just like a reskinned Wyvern.
And the last quest was
It's
pretty fun.
badass.
Was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, I can't tame these guys.
You get that
The spirit hunter.
yeah,
Or sorry.
and you get that the whole spirit instance like scenario where you're
Yeah.
like going around. That's so cool. Um, anyways, the problem is for us, we already had max level characters, so we're coming back to do this, and why we got lost, and I feel like also because we're old too. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Well, that, like I'm trying to set up like it's
You're like,
me
wait a
trying to
minute, which
it's me setting
what do
up
we
like
do?
Google TV for my in-laws. Like that
You
was
know what's sad too
with
is
my
like,
in-laws, I was like so confused.
but yeah, that's why I was saying that at first after I messaged you guys and said, do I need to do this? Am I supposed to be doing, you know,
no,
like, do
yeah.
I have to do that? You're like, no.
And so
And
the
then I
reason
noticed
for the
that.
confusion is that all the quest lines at this point, whereas if you just go through the content as you're leveling, it unlocks in chronological order. But when you come back to do the content, it's all available at once. So shit's happening in no particular order, and it's super confusing. And it's like, okay, so do I go here and I kill this Legion invasion? But hold on, according to this quest line back here, that hasn't happened yet. And then, but
Yeah.
then hold on, I need to go finish up. And then all of a sudden, I'm helping Illidan on a broken shore, but then I'm also looking at his past, Illidan, and what happened to him. And then I
Yes.
have to like rescue this crystal dude, and this crystal dude is sending me to different places, and it's just, oh, it's such a cluster.
And just so you know, you don't have to do all that stuff.
You don't, but they don't make it clear what you have to do.
No.
In order to get, I mean, Wowhead did as best it could. I was still confused. I was using Wowhead a lot just to try to figure out how to get, because you're doing when you unlock the Broken Shore content, and that's where a lot of this, that's where the achievement comes from. So there's an achievement called Breaching the Tomb. It has everything to do with the Broken Shores and all the quests that you have to do there and all the stuff. Basically, you just have to complete the quest line of the Broken Shores, which when you're at max level takes nothing, no time at all. You're just mowing down everybody because you're overpowered, and it's kind of fun because you get cool stuff. And I got a rare mount. I got a rare mount drop when I was out in the Broken Shores, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
What'd you get?
It was those Vile Fiend. It was those. They're kind of like those.
Like an insect?
No, they're like a long lizardy demon.
Okay.
They give off the vibe of the bad guy from Monsters Inc., the chameleon dude. They got long arms. I think there's a winged version that's a.
Was this just from a random drop?
Yeah, it was.
Or was
like
it just like
it was a rare spawn, like Huntmaster or something or another.
Right, for the rares that you have to.
Yeah, that just appeared, and then I just clicked. I was like, was that a mount? Was that a mount? And I was like,
it's so funny.
I was like, I had no idea. I was so stoked by that.
So you know what? I did not count the rare mounts.
Oh, you didn't? That's fine. We'll get back to it. Future episode. Anywho, yeah, I got the class mount, but yeah, if you're, I just want to let you know right now, if you're, the problem is that when you're doing this quest line, it lets you progress and do the achievements and requirements up to a certain point, and then it stops giving you quests, and you're like, what the hell? Like, yeah, I want to go, want to do more, I want to finish this. And because that part of it is tied up with what happens in your order hall.
In order hall, yeah.
Yes, and so the order hall has its own separate quest line that you need to advance through to the end before you can kick in with the rest of Breaching the Tomb achievement, which will then unlock your freaking class mount finally.
I think they send you back. Woo! They'll say, go get another champion, basically.
Yes. Yeah, go get another champion.
Go recruit another champion and then come back.
Exactly. So did you get it?
I did, for my hunter.
Yes.
Again, because I was already like, I'm trying to do it on my warlock now since I kind of already started with her too, because I leveled through Legion.
Hey, you might yeah.
But I'm just like, do I really need to do Breaching the Tomb? Come on.
Yeah, because so much of it has to do with just the mission table stuff, which is just like you send somebody on a mission and then you wait 6 hours for them to come back from this mission. So that's what holds up your progress is just waiting.
What I didn't like about so as soon as I got the quest where you had to find the worm tongue cache. I
have another one for you, by the way.
Okay. I could not find one for the life of me. I even complained in guild chat. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I said I hate this quest, and then all of a sudden,
They
after I
pop.
linked that quest,
Boom!
about
Yeah.
6 of them right around me, and I'm
That
like,
always happens because
really?
it's like everybody's doing this now. Everybody's under class mounts. They're doing exactly what we're doing. They're just going back, and so pretty much as soon as they spawn, everybody's tagging them, and there's everybody at once, and then so all the spawn timers just go off at one time, and then it's like a
Yeah.
weird. That's happened to me too.
I'm like, oh,
I was
there you
farming for
go.
those for like a couple days, just seeing them, and the same thing with exactly what you described. Everybody was like, "Man, where the hell? Blah blah blah. WTF?
Yeah.
Blizz, spawn timer. Blah
Yeah,
blah."
I think someone
then,
was like, what?
boom,
Like,
all at
where
once.
can I find these? And everyone was like, just fly around.
Oh, hey, speaking of, so your hunter is a dark iron, right?
Yes,
So I'm logged. For the record, folks, I'm logged in right now. I'm on my dark iron hunter, and I have a quest in Mount Hyjal, right?
Uh-huh.
I could fly to Mount Hyjal, or I could go back to Stormwind and then take the portal to Mount Hyjal, or I could use my mole machine racial, pull it up, and take me straight to Mount Hyjal, right next to the throne of what is this? Or
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Right? Yeah, dude, did you collect the? If you guys don't talk about, dark iron dwarves have this awesome racial ability where it's a dark iron mole machine, and it looks like the drills from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that drill through the ground. That is like 3 people understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like, they're like, what?
It's the big, but you've seen them. They happen at the Brewfest, on the Brewfest boss, the big drills that come out. Anyways, every 30 minutes, it's a 30-minute cooldown. You call one up, and it gives you initially you have 3 preset locations that you can go to if you pull it up. So you can go back to Stormwind, or you can go back to Shadowforge City, which is like the starting zone for the Dark Irons, and then Ironforge, I think. I can't remember. It might be something like that. So. Either way, but
Stormwind
interspersed throughout the game in different regions are other mole machines, and if you go there as a dark iron, that are only clickable for dark irons, is that and you click them, it adds another location that you can put into your thing. So now I went and collected all the possible ones, and I have.
I saw. You know what the sad thing about that though? I saw them but didn't click on them.
I have to go back.
Yeah, is that sad or what?
That's
not like. I saw them like, ooh, look, there's one, but I didn't click on it. Yeah,
I saw. Now I have like shortcuts to Eastern Kingdoms, Kalimdor.
Did you just
Outland.
Google that, or?
Right, I just Googled it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outland, Northrend, Pandaria, Draenor.
I suppose I can do that.
Legion, but nothing in BFA yet. I wish they added some in BFA. That would have been cool. They might actually but it's cool because then you can just hop around. I feel like a mage now. I feel like a mage, a 30-minute mage.
Yeah. Even better.
But I recommend it. So if for all y'all with dark iron alts out there, it's worth the time to go fly around, and it's kind of fun to see these places because these mole mount locations are not mole mount, mole machine locations are in kind of random spots, kind of remote spots, and it's fun to see old content. But I will say this: have you been to Outland recently?
No.
God.
Is it popping?
No, it looks like ass. Like Outland is just so ugly, and you can tell by the trees. When your trees look geometric, you know you're in a crappy content. It just looks so bad, and it's weird how like you could tell the progress of World of Warcraft over the years just by what the trees look like. Like the trees now, you take for granted that the trees in, like, I bet you Ardenweald is going to look amazing as far as what the trees look like. Like you're going to feel like it. You got to, not even Ashenvale, because Ashenvale is, well, yeah, I guess some parts of Ashenvale, but Outland for sure is the oldest content. If you go to Nagrand or something like that, or and just like
I went to Nagrand.
You look at the trees from the side and they're like bushes, right? But then you look at the trees from the top and they're just like X's,
they're lines,
like,
right? Yeah. Yes.
It's like, oh, I'm flying around in a paper cutout. Like this is
yeah.
Anywho, Super recommend that. Anyways, let's move on to news. You know what? There we go. Let's use that for our news and make us all like anxious when we talk about news. It is free return, come back. What are we calling this? Come back and check out WoW Weekend, where everybody has access to the entirety of the game, which includes BFA and the current patch. If you have old characters, you can log in for free just to see what's going on and do anything you could do with the character with the paying subscription right now. So up until I think today's the last day. So
bring your friends back to WoW.
There you go. Bring your friends back to WoW. Yeah. Think anybody take advantage of this?
Are you? Oh yeah, for sure.
Like playing already. If you
I think so.
One of those,
you know what? It happened to me because I stopped right before Mists of Pandaria. So I remember getting emails, and it was like an email account that I never really looked at, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to look at this email account, and it's like, come back for free for this. I'm like, oh, it's free. Why not? So I'm pretty sure people will do it because it's free, and then we'll end up resubbing right after that.
They should,
because that's what I did.
Kind of, but because it worked. Like a free sample at Costco. It worked.
Oh God, yeah. I miss those.
Yeah,
they don't really do very many of those now, obviously.
Well, obvious reasons, but when you think about it, isn't it kind of gross though?
Yes. I told you about that video, right? That in Japan they made this video way even before this, the
vids.
COVID, yeah. They basically showed how particles from your mouth travel depending on how loud you are, how
how you project your voice.
How you project your voice. Okay. And so they show it, they go behind this screen and they show these particles coming out. And they start off with just like a normal, they're standing in front of each other and they're just kind of talking like, normal voice, I guess. And there's just very little, but there's enough and it kind of spreads out. Okay. Then you see them talking a bit louder and you see more of these particles coming out and it's like in your face. And I told Robert, I was like, and we talked about this too. We said after the pandemic, like things are not going to be normal anymore. Mm-hmm. There are going to be a lot of germaphobes that will probably still wear masks.
No, as well they should. Dude, it's not okay. The whole thing about this isn't a no mask thing. I'm just saying this is the science behind a mask people in Asia figured this out a long time ago.
This is why and
this is like we see people wearing masks. It's like we're used to that to a certain degree. It's like I used to live in Asia for about over a year or so. I went to when I was in 7th grade. From 7th to 8th grade, that's when I lived there. But in particular, this is in the Philippines. But you're also, while I saw some people in the Philippines definitely wearing it, I would also watch like local news, right? And if there's anything having to do in like China or Japan or something like that related, there's always
everyone wearing masks.
Depending on the season, you would see like a couple of faces of just people walking down the street normally wearing a mask. And the reason for that it's never about them protecting themselves from other people. It's them because they're sick. They're the ones who have the cold. They're the ones who are feeling under the weather, but they still got to go to work. They still got to interact and do stuff. They don't want to sit home. They're putting on the mask so that they
to
protect the spread of it, so they don't cough and sneeze all over the place, kind of thing. And at first, it's like, oh, that's weird, right? Like that looks weird because people don't do that here. But then you just realize after you think about it for a second, it's like that's super considerate. You know what I mean? Like, that's like if you're on the bus or your public transportation, right next to you. And I used to ride public transportation all over time. Dude, getting to work, man. In San Francisco when we worked together. I used on public transportation.
I lived in Japan for 6 months. Not lived. Stupid. My sister lived in Japan for years, and I went to visit her, and I was there for 3 months. And that's the one thing I noticed too was just everyone being mindful and like on the train station, because we took the train a lot and they were all wearing masks. Not all, but a lot of them were wearing masks.
Yeah.
And when my niece
think about it, you're on a train. You're in a train. You're in a confined space with other human beings breathing the same air.
Yeah.
Putting on
Think
a
about
mask
that.
is the whole
You guys,
purpose of the
y'all
mask
need to
isn't the
see this
protection
video.
from them to you. It's you to them. That's
Dude,
what it
the
is.
particles just grossed me out.
Oh, they should.
Because if you know anything about science and smell, if you smell something, it means particles of that thing went up into your nose.
It's not
That's
just
how
like
you're smelling it. It's not
an
like
energy,
a
it's not an
scent.
energy
That means that stuff is in your nose.
If you smell poop, there
Yes,
are poop
particles
in your nose.
Yeah.
This is how it works.
That's how it works.
That is how it goes. That's how biology works.
Yes. So when my niece moved to Germany, she went to school. They went from Japan to Germany, and some kids, she was wearing a mask, and the kids were like, "Why are you wearing a mask? Is it an Asian thing?" And she's like, "Actually, no," because she's Filipino, right? She's like, "Actually, no. I'm sick, and I don't want to spread my germs." It's pretty funny.
In your face. Oh, you're weird. You're weird for being considerate.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, go to hell.
But anyways,
Fine.
back
Here,
to
let me take off my mask and get sick. Get sick. Go.
I know.
Get sick.
Let me cough all over you. No, but really, guys, like, if you watch this video, just talking like us talking right now, like Raymond being super loud, all that stuff is everywhere. Like me,
you hear that? I'm a super spreader, folks. You heard it here, folks.
There's just a lot. You would think, you don't think about it, but all this stuff's coming out of your mouth as you talk. So that's why when people, oh God, now I get so paranoid when we do go to restaurants and then the waiters go over, even though they're wearing a mask. I'm just like, not anymore.
Yeah,
not anymore.
I don't know. I still haven't been to sit down. I just get all my food takeout.
You know? So. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that got away from us. What the hell were we talking about? Class?
Back to our regular.
Yeah. Well,
anyways.
Anywho. No, we were talking about come back for the weekend.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so that's going on. Any other news? There wasn't really much as far as news. The quest line, I think Death Rising should be coming out shortly. Is it this Tuesday?
So is there
a the pre-patch quest line?
Yeah, I have a question about that because a friend of mine messaged me or said something in guild chat. Did you read it? Where he said that someone told him who's been helping him. I guess I'm assuming maybe this person was leveling with him because he said someone that's been helping him throughout this whole like leveling experience mentioned that he should wait until Tuesday to get a cloak.
Oh. Maybe.
And I was kind of confused because I was like, is it the cloak from Rathion? Like, which cloak? Is there another cloak coming out?
Maybe there's another cloak, yeah.
So is there a cloak that you can get through the event? So I wasn't sure.
I know that
I was like, I need to look that up because I don't know.
The event definitely has some quest gear rewards.
Gears, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Just to get everybody the gears.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to reward some gear towards the end just to get some people more ramped up. I definitely could use it on some of my ults right now. My hunter's gear.
Oh, I know.
Booty.
I'm kind of. I'm like, should I waste my? I don't know. Do we need to?
I'll just wait till.
I'm not sure.
That's the thing too. Is like I'm now because I'm working on more alts. Is just like I have to know to a point to stop with one alt because I know, and the advice I've given people on this show is don't worry about gearing up because the gear is going to come in as soon as Shadowlands happens. Yeah. And we know that's going to happen shortly. And I'm finding myself like going on my hunters like, well, I really need better gear on this guy. So I got to do, the Black Empire invasions and the N'Zoth stuff. And I was like, wait, no, I don't. I'm like,
yeah, you know what? I actually noticed some people making fun of other people still trying to sell Mythic plus whatever. Yeah. They're like, why are you even trying to sell that right now?
People are pre-selling Mythic runs for Shadowlands. Can you believe that?
Oh, these are the guilds that are like,
dude, they're pre-selling Mythic
that's pretty crazy.
Runs. Okay, one, that's a crazy thing to advertise because the game's not like, I get it, yeah, you guys are beta testers there, but so much can happen between now and the beta, right?
Yeah.
Or the beta and when it actually releases.
How do you even know you're going to get
buying that? No, who needs to buy that right now? Like,
yeah. It's like not fun when you have to pay somebody to get you through stuff.
These advertisers for these, it's just out of hand. It's too much. Or just
on that note, why don't we talk about our guild? Because now we can actually do our own stuff if we want.
Okay, wait. Let's transition. Here we go. There we go. Let's talk about our guild.
We now have another member. I believe his name is Cultist. And he just joined yesterday.
What up?
Welcome.
Cultist? Thank you.
And so what I found interesting was that when he applied, he mentioned that he is a guild master of a horde guild on Illidan. And that's where my guild was raiding before it got too high pop and we couldn't even log in. Like, you weren't raiding with us at that time, right? No. I think you started raiding Bone Chewer, or was it Hakar? Okay.
Bone Chewer.
Because first, when we couldn't do anything on Illidan, my whole guild transferred to Hakar, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And then Hakar was too low pop that it kind of was annoying. That we ended up moving the guild to Bone Chewer after that. But Illidan, Horde, I wonder if we were around the same time. That would have been cool. Anywho, welcome to the guild.
Welcome.
And I am going to change it to, so I looked it up, and there is a resubbed something. I forget what it is. There's a guild that's called Resubbed something. I forget what it was, but it's not resubbed. So I'm going to try and change it to resubbed.
Yeah. Hear that? Resub something? We're coming for you.
I forget what it is. I don't remember. I'm like
hot on your heels.
Yeah. So I was like, ooh, so they don't have resubbed, so we can do resubbed.
Excuse me. Speaking of guild stuff, I've been feeling bad because I know we put out a call. It was like, hey, come join our guild, blah, blah, blah. Every time I play, I have not interacted with anybody who's joined a guild. Just because I play at odd times. You know what I mean? I'm jumping on my main character, just kind of checking around. It's like, I understand that. It's like, okay. It's like, I feel bad. Like, I want to interact with the folks. So I am, definitely extending an invite. I am on. I'm just on at some kind of odd times at the moment. It's just, new baby. You gotta roll with the schedules. Yeah. With that said, though, I have been playing more. So I've been jumping on my Shadow Priest and leveling on stream. Actually, nobody watches me. It's just like I'm just.
You're streaming, but you have zero viewers.
But I'm like for zero viewers. I'm talking to myself. I'm just doing it just to be on and talk to myself. But I also wanted to have just challenge of just like, can I get into the habit of streaming and doing this all as a goal to get a character all the way up to 50. So far it's been working out. My Shadow Priest is level 30 as of yesterday. I finally have those apparitions that come out of you when you crit or something like that. That's cool. But honestly, I'm not sold on the Shadow Priest just yet. There's some cool stuff. My character looks cool. Like, I like how my Void Elf looks. Like, he's just void on void on void. So it's just purple. Then you go in shadow form, and it's even more purple. And it's like, this guy's like, I should name him Prince. But
and when you're on the corrupted Firehawk, it's pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't even think about that and got one. Mm-hmm. Player. Okay. Anyways, I'm not really sold on their gameplay just yet.
But tell your story as to why we have not been seeing Raymond, the Shadow Priest.
So it doesn't help that all my characters are named very similarly. All of them are. So in my head, I'm always on the same character. And they're all variations of the name Ramen Pile Driver. Just Ramen Driver, Ramen Pile, something like that. So I'm on... I think his name is Armen Driver. And this whole time I'm playing, it's like, geez, like with all this extended time that I have been playing, you'd think by the numbers I would at least run into somebody by now who's playing, you know what I mean, at this point in night. Yeah. The reason why I haven't been seeing anybody at all, and I noticed it, I think it was last night or this morning, was that my little guild symbol is a different icon than my other main characters that I play all the time, because this character is not in a guild yet. So I've been looking for people to play with in guild and getting irritated and not seeing anybody. And I'm not in my own guild. That's yeah.
And what level is your?
Yeah. See that, folks? That's
What level?
You got to get on my level, folks.
Well, what level are you?
Oh, I'm 30. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, so for
30 for
30 or
levels.
20, yeah,
20
for
levels.
20 levels, guys, 20 levels. This is what happens when you have a newborn. Well, he's not newborn anymore.
Yeah,
but when you have a baby,
yeah,
and yeah,
and you play late at night. So, and I already have a newborn. I'm not making excuses, folks. Come on, let's just. I'm doing this to myself. Okay, but with that said, yeah, dude, I'm playing when I should be sleeping. You know what I mean? And it's clearly it shows because I had no idea for like a week.
That's so funny.
Like for 10 days straight, I'm playing. It's like, dude, I've been playing like consistently.
You're missing out on some guild chat.
Jeez, this is like big. Anyways, we still invite you to come join us if you hear us. Well, you guess are we still Insight as of today?
Still, yeah. I'm gonna change it.
Okay. We'll let you know when we change it. So it's just easier. Look for resub, and that way you can look for resub. But yeah. Oh, you know what I'm looking at right now, Michelle? Because I'm in game. I'm looking at the live in-game map of Revendreth. Did you know you could do that?
No. I mean, I assume that
you care
because
you care. I'm telling you right now. I'm looking at it. I see all the deep dive. Listen to these names. Darkhaven. That's a flight path you can.
Okay, here.
You can fly.
Are you looking at which one are you looking at?
Revendreth.
You see Revendreth? Okay.
That's the only one that's fully revealed. If you notice, the other ones are all blanked out.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not really sure why.
No, I can see everything. I'm just kidding.
Oh, we can see Ouroboros.
Ouroboros, but there's nothing.
And then there's a little Chromie time walking campaign that goes there.
Did you ever finish that?
Look at that. Look at it later, right? So we got Pride.
Oh, well, you see,
Hamlet, right?
Why can't you see? That's weird. So you can see Revendreth, but you can't see everything else. Ooh,
you're just blowing past these names. Castle Nathria, which is the first raid, by the way. And the first raid boss is the dude, Denathrius, which is the leader, the current leader of Revendreth, who you saw in the animated short.
Yeah.
The CEO giving his awesome PR speech. Yeah, dude. So let's talk. Oh, you know what I did? Too? I rolled a cool Tyrian monk. The started one. Just
a monk?
The name there. He's awesome. He's just like, he's bald like me.
What level?
A bit of facial hair. Oh, I just started him, so he's level 10.
Ooh, we should level together. I can tank for you.
I'm gonna be a healer monk too.
Oh, great! I'll need a good healer because I'm not sure. I don't know how well I can tank yet.
I'm not gonna say you're gonna get a good healer if I'm healing, but I'm gonna try. But with that said, I think it's awesome. One, I think it's awesome because like I can make him. It's just like in my head, the role play in my head. He's like, all right, he was definitely like a warrior, like back in the day, like some warrior.
Yeah.
Like some old war, and now he's like middle aged, and he's still like fit, but he's like calmed down in life, and so now he's a monk. You know what I mean? So it's like he's still tough.
That's
and
funny.
Shit, and like he's like a cool uncle that used to be a gangbanger. You know what I mean? Like
that now does
yeah, it's like Danny Trejo or something.
That's pretty cool.
That's how I envision him in that. That's yeah, dude. But so I have this thing where I've never played a monk before, and I don't like starting new characters at level 10, and all the allied races start at level 10. So
you like to start from the beginning.
You get all these. So that's what I have with my Shadow Priest. Is it's like I had all these abilities. I was like, what? I was like, give it to. It's like 5 or 6 abilities. It's not much, but it's enough for me to be like, hold on, I don't know how these fit together, and it just gives me that extra anxiety of having to figure this out a little bit more.
You use Wowhead to look at like rotations and stuff?
Icy Veins mostly, but right now I try to avoid that. I know that's the easy way of doing it, but I try to avoid that because I don't want it to affect like my learning. You remember?
Right.
There's a
because you don't want
to fun in learning how to play your class.
I have a story about that.
Okay. And maybe that's why I haven't really felt that connection with my Shadow Priest. I mean, we talk to each other, we look in each other's eyes, but I just don't feel it. No, and maybe that's the reason, because I started off at level 10 and I'm just like clicking buttons at this point, trying to figure out how to get this all working. Yes, I know. I can go to Icy Veins. I could just figure out the rotation and just do it from there. But like I said, there's a fun... This is how I play.
It's a challenge.
Don't shame me. This is how I play. It's just to figure out how these systems work together and like, okay, so I should use this, open with this Mind Blast, right? And then use the Mind Flay so that as they're running towards me, they're slowed down. Oh, and then use this as a thing. I like figuring that stuff out. But because those all got dropped in my lap right when I started experience, I was like, ugh, it's weird. It's like, things, stuff. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And so what I did was, I rolled my Kulturan monk, and then I rolled a different monk at level 1, so a standard character, to take through Exile's Reach. I rolled an orc monk, who was awesome. Just because I wanted to play it from 1 to 10. That was my whole thing was
to get that experience,
to see what the actual abilities were, because I had no idea. I don't even know like what the resource I'm still trying to figure out what the resource the monk uses. It's a chi, right? Like, and it just
chi, yeah.
And do you generate chi, or do you start with chi and it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I haven't played my monk in a while, actually. Now that I'm leveling all these alts.
There's always a resource, because there has to be a resource. Because if there's no resource, that the game is that. Chi. I don't even know how the chi works exactly. So, anyways, that's what coming in. My orc was badass, dude. The customization options for orcs now are amazing. Amazing.
So we do horde.
I made him blind. I made him a blind orc. So he was a blind monk. That's
that's awesome. You mean blind like the demon hunters?
No, like their eyes. They have an option to just gray out both of the eyes.
Okay.
Like you're like
kind of like our alliance where you can do one eye.
Yes, but in this case,
you can do both. Two.
I don't know if Kulturan. I don't know if any of our races on the alliance side can do the option of both eyes blind. I'm gonna look into that now. Actually, I would. Yeah.
So my Kulturan is a warrior, which is why I said we should level together.
Cool.
That'd be fun.
The thick.
The big
warriors. The big ones.
He's huge.
That's just like us in real life. Like
yeah.
And then
pandemic.
Yeah, we could relate. See, shout out to Kulturans, man. Positive body image. Like I could relate to being a Kulturan male. Like, all right, you got me, and I got you. And so, what was I gonna say? Yeah, dude. Now I want to roll a freaking orc stuff now. Like I'm looking at the Forsaken hairstyles are awesome.
We do Illidan.
Yeah, so I think at some point in the future we'll branch off. We should do a branch off horde.
Go back to horde. I kind of miss it.
Back to our roots.
Yes.
Alliance feels more serious, doesn't it? Like I feel like there's so much more. I feel like Alliance is like more professional. I know it's like, I know that sounds funny, but it definitely feels like there's more order. There's less chance of random stuff happening.
Yeah.
If in Star Trek terms, it feel like the Federation in a way. The Horde just has a little bit more, razzle dazzle. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more. But I am tired of the Horde not having good leaders. Like I don't. That's shitty. They need to have good leaders. Like
right. Their leaders are always like, something's always happening.
There's always something off with them, and I get it for the Horde, but at some point, like just either noble up, get your house in order already, or not at this point. Like because realistically, if this was a real organization, you would have had split offs already, because there's no freaking leadership in the Horde, like at all at this point. I said it. Come at me with your angry emails about Horde leadership. I dare you. I double dog dare you.
I wanted to tell you just a short story, because I am just like you when I would rather, like you said, develop some sort of relationship with your character.
Right.
And not just kind of go in and like half-ass and not really knowing what you're doing, I look at it as a challenge. So one of the things, like when I first started raiding with the mage, it was always like either frost or fire,
Okay.
right?
Never arcane.
Never arcane. They always like arcane was never like it wasn't a rating spec. And so
Oh,
I
that's right.
took
In
it
terms of just
upon
straight
myself.
DPS, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I took it as a challenge to see if I can raid as arcane and be top DPS. And I did it. But now that I think about it, Johnny Five is the druid that helped me out that whole time. Johnny Five, I feel like he had something to do with it too because of that buff. Do you know what buff I'm talking about?
Did it look like a little
It
arcane,
increases your spell power.
Did it look like a little arcane sparkle?
Maybe, yeah. You
I
kind of
feel
started like electricity-ish.
Yeah. I think
Yes.
I recall
when you
that.
get that buff, there's like
I never played a character that would benefit
would
from
need
that.
yeah.
would
Because it
need
was always healing or
like
spell
cast.
damage.
Yeah, spell damage.
Yeah. And so
So it has to be a balance buff, right? That would be a balance druid?
I think so.
Or,
yes.
a boomkin build?
No.
Some-
Balance.
Balance.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe it
wait.
came
Not
back.
balance. Sorry. Resto. It was a resto.
Oh, maybe it came
'Cause
back
he was
with
a
the
resto druid.
unpruning. You should look into that.
I'm going to look into that. But anywho, I did. I ended up being top DPS in one of our raids, but I was like, it's actually hard to keep up with Arcane because you use so much mana.
Okay. And you have
Yeah.
to have like quick regen.
Yeah. Anyways, that was my
Got it.
story.
That's
My
awesome. And you just
past
stressed me out with
rating
that
story. Huh?
Stressed me out with that story. I just see it as like trying to frantically hit all the hotkeys at once.
For real, it really was. It was like, oh man, I'm a button smasher.
Hey, how do you play now? What kind of mouse do you use?
The Steel Series
Can you hold it up?
Rival.
Is it with the buttons on the side?
Yes, there's 2 buttons on the left side,
Okay,
and
so
then
this
there's a button in the middle as well.
Mine's a Logitech something or another. G20, I think. But look, it's that style.
Oh yeah, you got the World of Warcraft one.
Yes, but basically the MMO. They're great
MMO
for
one.
MMO. So I've been using
Yeah.
these forever. Like now.
Right,
I think,
you
at this
said
point.
that. Because you can play with one hand.
You can play with one hand, and this is how I play. At night, I play with like my hand and my chin, my legs crossed, and I'm just like.
To
my
be
shoulder
honest,
hurts after like 5 minutes, but that's.
I prefer
how I play.
smashing the keyboard buttons.
Do you really?
I do.
I mention this
You
now
know-
because like as I play later at night, like my thumb feels like extra fat, and I'll start hitting the wrong keys.
Yeah.
As I like.
How are you not like? Do you not have like carpal tunnel or something?
Yeah, I'm sure it can't be.
Ooh, let me
healthy.
tell you. When I went, so I had carpal tunnel
Like
in both
realsies?
hands. Huh?
Like
yeah,
for reals?
I
Carpal
did.
tunnel? Okay.
So I went to the doctor and I was doing physical therapy and stuff, and she looked at my fingertips and she said, "Are you on the computer a lot?" And I was like, "Well, this is when I used to actually game hardcore. This is when I was like not only
like-
playing WoW but playing
It's
Counter-Strike."
like looking at a
and-
ballerina's feet.
Yeah, basically occupational hazard. My fingertips, I was losing my freaking, she said I was losing my fingerprints.
Ew. Oh my god.
Think
that's
about it.
Weird, dude.
Isn't it?
How weird.
I mean, I still have them, but she said it's like they're getting,
You worn down to nothing.
yeah.
You better
They're
stop now.
smooth. They're smooth.
You better stop now. Or
Oh, so I know I didn't mention it now at this, like, did I mention it? No, I didn't. So we mentioned this at the during our gaming podcast, but the new computer that I bought,
oh yeah. They coming in?
it's coming in next week, I think. By the end of next week, hopefully by Sunday, because then I'm going to actually stream our podcast and play. But I did get a mechanical
do it live.
keyboard. Yeah, I got a mechanical keyboard.
Hey, yay.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know, it might be annoying actually, now that I think about it.
I have a separate keyboard that I plug into my laptop. So I basically use my laptop as like a desktop where it's just I plug everything into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but then so specifically for reading, because I eat at my desk and I don't want to get it. And I don't like want to get like food crumbs in my
Your
nice
laptop? Yeah.
2, I've had this mechanical keyboard, like just around for a while, and it's just the one to just beat up. You know what I mean? When you're playing video games, like I don't care. I do not care about it. And 2, spilling your greasy ass fingers.
Yeah.
Which I still do at 38 years old. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's gross. Hey, you know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at a Highwind Darkmane. That is a mount found in Shadowlands.
Are you looking at the mounts now?
Yeah, it looks like a badass armored flying lion. I think it's a wyvern. It has to be a wyvern, like reskin, the way that it is. But
ooh, yeah, that's pretty sick.
The Forsworn and their mounts take on a darker aspect upon renouncing the path laid forth by the Archon. Spoiler alert, jeez. While tame enough to ride, the Highwind Darkmane has a fiercely independent streak.
I like the color.
You'll never put it. Dude, guess what?
Yo. Nice.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, we do. We've got emails. Anyway, send your emails to resubbedpodcast at gmail.com. That's RESUBBED podcast at gmail.com with any comments, questions, or however things you want to write. We want to hear from you. It helps because then we have a whole section on it. And this week's email, if you don't mind, I'll read it. Michelle, is coming from Necrolord X. So thank you for writing in. And I do appreciate it because it put me on an awesome research path. So he writes, hello. First of all, great job on the podcast. Enjoy hearing about you guys coming back to the game and discovering everything. I noticed in the last episode that you said the jailer doesn't seem like the last boss, but the dev said that he was for sure the final boss in Shadowlands. I agree that he didn't seem very scary at first until I saw this photo. I attached it into the email, and it's like the photorealistic version of the jailer, not like the in-game. Maybe that will change your perspective a bit. And yeah, he looks freakish. I have a feeling we're going to get a pretty epic cinematic when the expansion releases that will explain why the jailer is scary. Anyways, keep the good work, and I look forward to hearing more. Regards, Necrolord X. PX, I forgot to answer the question Michelle asked. I listen to a lot of music when I play WoW. I also play music when I stream. I haven't been hit with the DMCA yet. Hopefully you don't ever. I mainly listen to a lot of doom metal and death metal. That fits. And I'm going to go on a wild speculation on Necrolord X and say he has at least one Forsaken character.
Yeah.
Maybe just one. But yeah, thank you so much for writing in. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, so the jailer. I wanted to talk about the jailer for a bit. If it's okay with you, Michelle.
Yeah.
So I said, and he's correct, I did say that I don't think he's going to be the last final boss. Like it might be some reveal. And I looked into it, and Necrolord is absolutely right. The devs have gone pretty much out of their way to say that, no, this guy is the final boss of the expansion. And that he's not anybody that we've seen before. He's an entirely new character. And so as I've been looking into it, I got really kind of excited about what this might potentially mean for the storyline moving forward for World of Warcraft. Seeing as that we have this new final boss that we've never seen before, named the Jailer. So let me just read off of, what is this? Oh, Wowpedia. So the Jailer, his real name is, did you know he has a name? Zovaal? Or
Zovaal?
Zovaal. It's Zovaal. Or for European listeners, Z-O-V-E-D-A-A-L. I don't know if you say V as fed, but why wouldn't you? You say Z as Z. Why wouldn't V be fed? Zovaal or Zovaal, better known as the Jailer, is an ancient being who rules a realm known as the Maw in the Shadowlands. Very little is known about him, since nothing has ever escaped the Maw. So it's like the Maw's like a black hole. So you don't know what the information. You know they exist, but you just don't know what's inside. And no one has ever seen the Jailer himself, or at least no one has seen him and lived to tell the tale. Sylvanas Windrunner allied with the Jailer after the events of Edge of Night, and the two have been working toward a common end for some time. As she fed the Maw with new souls, both she and the Jailer have grown more powerful. Once the jailer kept only the most dangerous souls in the cosmos, confined in the internal prison of Torghast. Now, some of Azeroth's greatest heroes are trapped here, as he expends their very souls. With his bindings broken, the jailer intends to reclaim what was once his. He also has his sights set on the soul of Azeroth. The jailer is the main antagonist and final boss of World of Warcraft Shadowlands. So, some additional notes. He was described in BlizzCon 2019 as one of the Lords of Death. Okay. I don't know what that means, but it's in quotes. Odin sacrifices his eye to one of the jailer's associates in exchange for the ability to peer into the Shadowlands and obtain some of its powers, including that's where he got the idea for the Valkyr from seeing Bastion. And here's important. Despite fan speculation, the jailer is intended to be a new character and is not someone that players have met before, such as Arthas, Argus, or Helya. Steve Danuser, who is a lead writer, I believe, for World of Warcraft, has described him as an important part of the Warcraft cosmology. And the jailer has been described as, quote, Titan level or Titan plus level antagonist by Eon Hezekiah, who's like the main dude of World of Warcraft. Let's see. And alpha, yada, yada, yada. Okay, yeah, so dude is a big deal, apparently, right? From what we know from that. And apparently he's a bigger deal than the Titans, or at least Sargeras level. And Sargeras is like being the most famous final boss of all of World of Warcraft, who was killed, incidentally, in Legion. And it's kind of like, where do you go from there kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and we described him as looking like a wrestler before. I'm looking at a closer look to him. He's got this hole in his chest too. And I don't know what that means. I bet you plays into something. Like you just wouldn't put a hole in a dude's chest and not make it mean something.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. It's like, oh, this.
Something's happening there.
Hey, don't worry about it. It has nothing to do with nothing. It's just a hole in the chest.
Just a hole in the chest. Don't worry.
But I want to. So to me, I was just like, okay, well, they're really leaning into this guy. It seems like, and to me, that's kind of a big deal because it feels like he might be the introduction to another aspect of World of Warcraft that we haven't seen. You know what I mean? Or like just taking the entire storyline in a completely different direction away from its Warcraft orcs versus humans roots. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like so much, and this is a big question, but for me, like I feel like so much of the storyline up until now has been trying to explain and contextualize the storyline that was laid out, 20, 30 plus years ago in a little rinky-dinky RTS game, right? That about orcs versus humans, about like how there's, the magician Medivh betrayed the court and he opened a portal. Like it all sounded cool at the time to just split, you know? But then like over the years, it's taken a life of its own. And there've been books written about it and all this lore behind it and all these things referencing other things. And they built a whole world under like what I think was probably ideas that weren't meant to have that much behind it. You know what I mean? And with that said, we've seen them retcon a bunch of stuff over the years, just to kind of fit in so that the different disparaging like storylines kind of make sense to certain, they still don't really make sense. Things are still kind of all over the place to a certain degree with certain characters. But with that said, now we have this person called the jailer who we've never seen before. And it just makes me wonder, is like, what else haven't we seen before? Right. And it looks to me like for the future of World of Warcraft, they kind of need to I think this is a good opportunity to take the whole story in a completely different direction. That's something unique and different. Like we can go to different dimensions now as our Azerothian characters and not really have any context of worried about like, oh, what would Anduin Lothar think about this? Or what would Uther the Lightbringer have done in this situation? We could just go be our own thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I think they seem to be hinting at with the jailer. So what do you think about that whole idea? That jailer is like the final boss of the Shadowlands, but he's going to also be an introduction to something else.
So is this not? I know Hedge mentioned before that this might be the last expansion.
Ever? No. Oh hell no.
Yeah, I know he mentioned that before. I was trying to figure out where.
No, there's no way that this is the last expansion. I mean, crazier stuff has happened, but there's no way from a business perspective that this is the last World of Warcraft expansion. No way.
I mean, I kind of just like we're so close to Shadowlands. I kind of just want to see. I don't really like to read into that. I think you're more of the like, let me read into all this stuff and figure out what's happening. Mm-hmm. I kind of am like no longer like that. Do you know that? Have you noticed that?
No. How dare you?
Well, no, it's because I used to be that way. Being a GM of a raiding guild, a hardcore raiding guild, I had to know everything about everything. And I mean, like, not just the storylines, but also each character and like what their strengths and weaknesses. I'm talking about like classes. I had to know about each class in my guild. You know, like
the technical aspect.
I had to, right. And I had to study fights. And so my brain at this point is like, this is what Robert was actually mentioned yesterday. He goes, I don't know if I really am there anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like go with the flow. Like I know I mentioned with the jailer before and I said he doesn't look very scary, but then how do we know like how the fight's going to be?
Right.
You know, like
or the context that he's going to
or the content. Right.
But you'd rather not speculate.
I'd rather experience
let it open up itself.
Yeah.
Okay. That's true. There is a certain double-edgedness, but that's where the fun is though. The wild speculation.
Yeah, that's
Michelle.
True.
Wild speculation.
I let you do the I let you take.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Let me shoot my speculative shots, and then you can just, from your end. Yeah, okay.
Oh, wait. Let me tell you something first. Just kind of the callback. Like, so the elixir of tongues, it's 29 gold and 95. Ooh. Yeah. 29 gold and 95. Might as well be 30 gold.
Yeah. Why?
It's 30 gold.
Why is it 29 and some change?
29.95. That's what it is. So it's no longer 7.
Oh,
it's
dude.
29.95.
Hold on. We need to go back to hold on. We need to talk about this because it's a thing. We have to get back to the jailer story.
Yes.
But there you go. Did you see that Blizzard made it difficult for multi-boxing now?
Did they really?
Yes. So they made it so that if you run certain, they didn't say you're not allowed to have multiple paid accounts because obviously they would never do that.
You can't stop.
If you want to have 10 people, if you want to stop one guy from having 10 paid accounts, seriously?
That's money in their pocket.
But they are trying to clamp down on actual multi-boxing itself. And I think the verbiage is something is like, if you run software that coordinates the actions of multiple accounts, that's considered bannable. So people have found like funny mechanical ways, like literal, they'll have like 3 like keyboards and mouse things set up with like this contraption that like will mimic the actions of them.
That's so funny.
But so that they haven't, so you can have multiple accounts on running at the same time, if you're paying for it, but they just don't want you coordinating stuff. And I think part of the reasoning that they said was for specifically that it was affecting the economy, the in-game economy, because all these people were multi-boxing nodes and like so.
Yep.
And flooding the market with a ton of different like things that otherwise wouldn't be there. So yeah, I thought I'd mention that before we talked about speculating on story stuff because that was news. And do you know any multi-boxers in real life?
No.
I don't.
Do you?
I see them in game.
I see them. Yeah.
I think it's funny personally.
That's funny. Like when you see the names that are like ABX, ABXX, ABXXXX. And I'm like, really, guys?
I think it's just but I used to see the legit ones back in the day, specifically during I want to say Cataclysm and Wrath. There was like oh my god, or maybe I'm thinking even before that. There was like a druid on our server that was famous for being a multi-boxer, but he was just a guy that loved the game. and he wanted to play with himself. So he could run content by himself and like just go through dungeons and stuff, because they had he had turned one into a bear, and then the rest of them were just like DPS. Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. But he definitely, you would see him walking around, and it was just like an after image, like these three, these Tauren, like all on top of each other, and then they all cast the same cast at the same time, and it was like this mob that he was targeting would just explode because it was like five boomkin bursts all at the same time. I always thought that was kind of cool, but I get it. Like there's people who totally exploit the whole multi-boxing thing just to kind of for their own benefit, and it kind of messes up the definitely the economy, and so multi-boxing, just thought I mentioned it.
So they just so is this something that they had to do in their patch, or
yeah they announced it as a thing. It was like a blue post too that they said that this was a thing to do. So multi-boxing, if you're a multi-boxer, go find a creative way to get around that and continue multi-boxing, I guess. I don't know what to say. But if you're doing it for nefarious purposes that mess up the experience for other people's, shame on ye, and this is your bit of your comeuppance. So meh. There, that's what I have to say about that. Anyways, going back, wild speculating of the story in The Jailer. So I'm gonna wildly speculate then, and you can listen to me rant. I hope that this introduces. I don't think it is, because WoW's strong point hasn't been its storyline lately. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they have to wrap up all the old fan servicey stuff that was set up before, like Arthas and all the things, right? Like what I just mentioned.
To kind of like give us closure on things that were started
years ago by people who no longer work for the company. You know what I mean? Like, it's not their ideas. Now it's like, if they do this right, to me, it's like you could use the Jailer to introduce an entire, I don't know, new dimensions of the stuff that you can take.
I hope it's not like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because all the original, like, we know this already, left. Mm-hmm. Most of the, like 90% of them, right?
Yes.
Left Blizzard.
Oh yeah, this is Blizzard, the corporation now.
So,
but looking at it from a storyline perspective, I'm hoping that maybe it's like, oh, maybe we want to tell a different story at this point, and this is our introduction point into that. Is like, here's a pantheon of people, not even a pantheon, but the Jailer is obviously part of something that storyline wise we had no concept or knowledge of prior to, because the Maw, nothing escapes the Maw up until now. Up until Sylvanas' overt actions, we had no idea that this whole thing even existed the way that it did, right?
We knew there was something about
there's an afterlife,
like when Arthas,
right? Yeah,
when Arthas dies, and then Bolivar takes his crown.
Simone Bolivar.
He kind of sacrifices whatever he is at that time, but he becomes he holds that whole thing back.
The jailer of the undead on Azeroth. Yeah.
But we never knew what he was keeping from
collapsing in, and we see that it's like the barrier between the Shadowlands, the underworld, and in here, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And kind of awesome. That's my background right there. Yeah. But yeah, so I hope that it allows them. So up until this point, a lot of WoW just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, I mean, I would argue that the last time that the story like kind of deviated from the established, orcs versus humans kind of basis was the introduction of the Draenei, space goats.
Yeah.
Like, that's a random ass way to introduce an entirely new race to a story, to a fantasy story. Yeah, to a fantasy story. It's like they're in this like magical crystal but spaceship from a different planet, but they have magic on their planet, but they're on a spaceship and they travel through space. Like, let's not forget this part. It's a
they have
spaceship,
magic.
But they have magic. They look like goats. They can speak everybody's language somehow, and are connected, to the light.
Yeah, it's very
somehow
random.
the same light that the priests of Northshire Abbey has been praying to, that the same light that the paladins have been wielding against their battles against the orcs. You know what I mean? Like in Generation Spec. It's a weird ass connection.
Yeah.
It works. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Draenei, and they've connected them to the Broken that were in Outlands, right? They made them the same. Oh, it's actually, but they retconned a bunch of crap for that to happen too, to fit in the storyline. But with that said, now it's like, all right, well, we have the jailer. He could be potentially the introduction to something brand new. I would be excited for that because I kind of would. I'm a little bit over the faction war. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit over dude. We're. I know that they probably did not envision the story of Warcraft to go on for this long because World of Warcraft is so successful and just keeping on. But at this point, I am ready for like something new to see what's going to happen. And I don't care if it like ends up being like, oh, what the hell? This started off as orcs versus humans. Where did it end up now? I was like, I don't care where it ends up as long as it's fun and it makes it makes some kind of cool sense. But I'm excited. Hopefully they get that freedom. But at the same time, I don't know. Then you have like expansions that had like crappy writing in BFA. Just
That's what I mean is like, I really hope they tie this. That's why I said I hope it doesn't turn out like Star Wars.
In my head, it's probably like better than what might actually be coming down the pipeline. You know what I mean? Which I hope is not the case.
Because we all know what we hope that it would, we all kind of have a thought of or feeling of how it should be, right? Or how we want it to be.
If that's how you're gonna make the jailer a big deal, that's how you do it. You make him like, I'm something that you've never seen before, and for good reason. Like, oh, you thought the Titans and this Void Lord crap like had anything? Like, no, you haven't seen anything yet. There's something else. Like, you're just one part. Azeroth universe is just one part of this huge multiverse of beings and stuff, and somehow we have to figure out our way through it at some point. I would think that'd be an intriguing storyline, and you could just do a whole lot with that as well. Yeah. Whew. That's me.
I'm pretty excited actually. I can't wait.
Yeah, Questline's coming up though. This the Undead Scourge event.
Is that next week?
I believe so. If not, I mean, I should look it up. But that's bad podcasting. But not having the right information, that's also bad podcasting.
Yeah, there are a lot of
let's see it. All right. So Death Rising event. Wow. Death Rising available November 10th. Yes, Tuesday. Available November 10th until November 23rd. When that's the launch of thing. So yeah, that starts. We're gonna have plenty to talk about, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to talk about professions, or do you want to save that for later?
Let's push that. How about we talk about mounts and professions the next time around? But then again,
I have it in my notes to talk about it. And then I actually wrote notes to talk about it. And then this whole thing came up with the jailer. I was like, I like this better. I want to talk about it.
Well, I think that's what's nice about our podcast is that, yes, we do have things we want to talk about, but then it's always a natural, like, organic conversation.
But hey, you know what? It will make it our special 10th episode focus. the professions episode we were supposed to have, like.
And mounts.
Professions and mounts. Yeah. Dude, we're almost at 10. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Nice.
How cool.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Should we call that an episode?
Yes, let's do it.
I think so. Michelle, we have been busy, you and I. And we posted that bonus episode of Serious Part-Time Gamer. So far, it's got a good amount of downloads from us. So just so you know, if you like that, please subscribe to its own feed that you can find. Just look up Serious Part-Time Gamers and subscribe to that feed. That way we can track like downloads that way. So that would help us out tremendously if you liked it, or if you like the show, and spread it around because it'll be fun. And
And I do have a question. I know a lot of people sometimes will just play WoW. I think one of our guild members said that they stream WoW because that's the only game that they're good at. But if you play other games, let us know. Like, what other games out there do you play besides World of Warcraft?
We need game recommendations all the time.
Yeah.
I'm at my stage in life right now. I need games specifically on a Switch that I can just pick up and play little rounds in between the baby. That's literally my life at this moment. So my game time is when my kid's asleep at night, and I will stay up much later than I need to, then just so I can play my games, or during the day when he's somehow preoccupied, like in a jumper, and I have for some reason a minute to spare when I'm just like, oh, look at that, I'm not cleaning something.
Yeah.
That's my speed. So I can't jump into, I don't know why I'm excited for Cyberpunk. I was like, how much am I going to really be able to
like invest
in that? Like how cyberpunkish can I really get? But hey, it's for, I'm not complaining. That's just how things are. So yeah, we're talking games, people.
Serious part-time gamers.
But yeah, what about you? What about you, player?
So besides that, I also have my YouTube channel, Michelle True YouTube. Right now we're doing Disney. I think we've decided we're probably going to push, right now it's mostly on merchandise, but we're going to talk about food as well. So I'm actually going to start posting I'm going to start baking and cooking. No, I'm actually going to try to cook. Yeah, like a lot of Disney stuff.
Yeah.
So I bought Remy. I bought Remy. Not Raymond's baby. I bought Remy, the rat from Ratatouille, and it's the shoulder pal. So it sits on my shoulder. So I'm going to record with Remy sitting either on my shoulder or on my head, wearing a hat.
One day I will have record with Remy on my shoulder and my head, but it will be my child.
Yes.
Strapped to my head. So Michelle True YouTube, dude, your new computer's coming in. You're going to stream. You and I are going to be streaming more. We're going to try to do live streaming of the show.
More streaming. Actual streaming for me.
We're going to cross the streams, people. That's we're definitely trying to work on that, our presence a little bit more there. But you can follow us there if you're up late, which is like, I don't know, 11 to midnight on Pacific Standard Time, and you want to watch a tired bald man play World of Warcraft, hey, join me in my stream, ramen_piledriver on twitch.tv. You can also find us on Serious Part-Time Gamers again, and my other podcast is called Inside Cradle. That is a wrestling focused podcast where me, my wife Ashley, and my best friend Eric, the three of us, talk about wrestling and things that are going on right now during this crazy COVID wrestling days, and some fun stuff. We talked about, did you know there's hella Filipinos in WWE
you mentioned that
now? Like a lot.
Yeah.
And I just mentioned it because me and Michelle happen to be Filipino. That's all. But it was just something that we talked about, and and we record pretty much either Sundays or Mondays, so come join us there. It's a lot of this too, just a lot of us just talking about fun stuff like that. But anyways, that's gonna do our episode this week. Anything else we want to say? Any other sponsors? Oh, if you can suggest a sponsor for us, if you can
find somebody.
Listeners, if you can find some obscure vendors or your favorite vendors that maybe nobody knows about in World of Warcraft, send it to us. We'll go check it out. We like doing these sponsor reads. It's funny.
And if you're Horde, let us know. Yes. We want to do this experiment. We want to buy that.
Experiment with the. See if we can. Or if you just happen to know, dude, they've done this experiment. Like, they've done this. It's a known thing. Just go ahead, let us know. We'd appreciate that. That's at resubbedpodcast@gmail.com. Anyways, that's it.
That's it.
Have a great day, weekend, time.
Yeah.
Enjoy the Death Rising.
Yeah.
Okay.
Later.
Bye.
Wow.